Hello, welcome back to another lecture in the series of Python for GenAI. Today we are going to review data structures and file handling in Python. So let's see what we have. So in data structures in Python, we do have four different types. The first one is lists, where you encapsulate them in the square brackets. So these are mutable, meaning that you can modify them. And the other types are tuples, where these are similar to lists but they are immutable, meaning that you can't change once you create a tuple. So that's the difference between them. And then we have dictionaries. These are key value pairs so that you can have a structured mapping between the key and value, something like this. So it's encapsulated in curly braces. The first one is name is the key separated by colon and the value is Alice. Similarly, age is a key, 25 is a value, and each entry is separated by a comma. So that's a dictionary. And we do have sets in Python. These are unordered list, or so these are something that we have unique elements in it. Like, the sets are mostly used for mathematical set operations and to remove the duplicates and merge one or two or more lists together and keeping only unique elements. So for such operations, so we will review with an example, then we understand it better. Then we go over file handling. What we do today is we write to a file, we create a new file and write something to it, and then we read the content from that file. Similarly, we also write to a CSV file and then we read the content from that CSV file. So these are the outline for the chapter or lecture for today. And this particular content is available for you as a chapter over here, the course Python for Gen AI, in which we already covered the chapter 1 and we are covering now this chapter 2. So you can review this. I'll put this in the description. And as usually we code everything in the Kaggle notebooks. So let's go to Kaggle and do that. And for you to try this out, I'll provide the Kaggle notebook and GitHub link for you. So when you want to try yourself with me while watching the video, you can click on this link and it will open. You can try things out. Okay, let's get started with the coding. So we have gone over this, we just reviewed this, and now what we're going to do is we'll test the code. So first we see the data structures, in which we have lists. These are ordered and mutable collection of items, right? So for example, fruits is a variable. What we are assigning to it is a list of strings. So the knowledge coming from the chapter 1, putting it together to form a list. Okay, and if you print the variable fruits, and you can actually see the list. So for you to try this out, you create a code block after this, and copy paste this cell or type it for you, that would be better, because you are using your physical system and mental system together, and that you know builds up neural connections strongly, and you'll remember the better. So fruits is a variable, as I mentioned, and these are some inputs in the list: 1, 2, 3. These are ordered so that you can access them with their index values, of course. But let's see what the fruits hold after we creating this. So the original list is apple, banana, cherry, as we have created. That's great. And if you also want to test this type of it, then go for print type of fruits. So okay, let me run this cell, because we have multiple core cells ran in the notebook, so its memory got updated, and we use the same variable fruits probably for the sets. That's why it gone up and showing as a set. Now as I just ran this, let me try once again. As you can see, this is a list. Okay, so that's how you can check your input data type. And now if you want to update list, so it's something like a grocery you know cart, where you can actually add more items to it, or remove items from it. So that's how it works. So let me append or add data to it, right? So for example, if I want to add something, then you can actually call the variable list, that is fruits, and it has multiple methods, and one of the method is appending. So you can add anything to that, so that will be added. So once we added something to that, and what is the output, let's see. So after appending, you can see we have the first three elements coming from here, as well as the one that we just added over here. Since we said it's ordered, so it appended at the end of the list. Okay, and now just for reference, this is 0th index, 1, 2, 3. Similarly, you can come from behind, -1, -2, -3, -4 index. Okay, let's test that. So to access first element in this list, you can actually call fruits of 0, that is 0th element, which is apple. So we in Python we start with 0th index. Okay, so just remember that it's very natural and intuitive, right? So we start from 0 and go further. Now similarly, you are creating Amazon website, and you have the feature the cart, and you want your customer to add as well as remove, right? So the remove function is something like this is your list, and call this method remove the element available, one of the elements. You can only remove which is available. So let's remove banana from it and see what is that later removal. As you can see, this banana has been removed automatically, and you can see apple, cherry, and date, which is great. And if you want to see multiple methods available, probably, yeah, so here it's not coming, but however, what you can do is you can, in your code, fruits.tab will actually give you multiple methods available, like uh, append, remove, pop. All these methods are available for list. You can actually get them. Okay, yeah. So let's go and review tuples. So these are also similar to list as I mentioned before, but these are immutable collection. They're ordered but immutable. Okay, what that means is, so once you create, you can't change them. Okay, something like coordinates. You're working for US Navy, and someone is sending you coordinates, and they are standard. On the globe you have coordinates that are fixed. If you say a coordinate, that will be pinpointing to a particular location though. So that's how you you can use tuples to fixed unchangeable elements. Okay, coordinates, let's say 10 comma 20, and you use these braces, brackets, right? And if you want to access the element number 1, you can do so like this. So let's try this out in the code cell. As you can see, I can access first element as this, and if you change this to 1, and that gives you the second element, and if you go further, you probably get an error, right? Yeah, so that's index error. As we learned yesterday, try in the first chapter, try except, that's error handling. you know in that kind of knowledge might help you to overcome such issues when you're programming bigger applications. Okay, so let's go with the 0. That's your output. Fine. So those are tuples. you know you learn the basics, fundamental core concept, think in first principles, and learn, use this knowledge on bigger projects. Then as you keep repeating this practice, you will master around these concepts, and they will be in your memory and easy to use on daily basis. So all these are very simple examples. You refer them anytime that you're dealing with such a concept. Come back, review it, and use it in your code. That's how you master. Mastering with repetition. Okay. So it's something like this, right? Once Bruce Lee said that, I don't worry about one with knowing a lot of techniques, but I worry with one who mastered one particular technique, like one punch or one kick. So that's how this works. You keep repeating something, you will master over it. You hold on to this. Let's say, in life, if you catch on to something and if you don't leave it, and it will surrender to you. It's a beautiful philosophy. you know in learning, or any field that you take, in art, in singing, dancing, all these masters, experts, are one who actually dedicated them to that field, and that field surrendered to them. So that's how this work. You take this technical aspect also in that way. It's like an art, and practice it with full of dedication, then you'll become a master, and you can create wonders, ground breaking things. So now the dictionaries is next concept in the data structures in Python. So these are key value pairs, which means, as I mentioned before in the presentation, this is a key separated by colon and the value, and another key value is here, and they are separated by comma. And if you want to see the dictionary, you can print it, and actually you can update the dictionary, and you can delete particular key in the dictionary. So let's see by coding that. What we are doing over here is we are creating a dictionary with the curly braces and key value pairs. So if I click on it, I can see my name is a key, Alice is a value, age and major. So this is printed as it is. That's great. And now I want to add something like year. So say 2024. Okay, or 105. As you can see, the year is added, right? But if you want to remove that, then you can just delete that particular key from your dictionary. Okay, that's how you read it. You practice it by typing, all the possible way to simulate your brain to take this mastery. Compare this with even you know martial arts. Done. So that's how you delete it. Now we are done with dictionaries. Okay, all the first principles, core concepts, only fundamentals at what you're learning over here. When you are building capstone project, the application oriented project of your learning, then you actually reuse this concept to build something bigger. Okay, so then the sets, right? So sets are pretty famous in deduplicating. Mostly I used a lot of them in my first job where I was working on risk management. So I have to deal with a lot of financial data where I might get multiple duplicate values with respect to the transactions and customers. So I need to figure out a way to deduplicate. We use pandas for that, but we are not jumping over to higher level. But the basic way of deduplicating is using these sets are very, very convenient and inbuilt functions. If you have two lists in which you want to get the unique elements as a final list, then you use sets. Okay, I hope you understand that with an example. Okay, and then so this is how a sets been created. So we use curly braces, and the difference between dictionary and set is something like this. In dictionary we have key value pair. In sets this is just the values. Instead of list or tuple, we are using curly braces over here. So that's a set. And you can actually check the type of it. Print type of fruits. Now you'll get set, right? So that's the type of it. And then you can actually add. It's something like mathematical set operations that we learn in the school, right? So you can add, you can remove, and you can find union. So let's see addition of it. So add date to the fruits is yeah, it's added in the first place, right? And then let me try once again what happens. So there are no duplicates, only unique values are there. So that's what you need to observe. And let's remove banana. Yep, we removed it. And then so this is another set I'm using over here. As you can see, the curly braces and these two are the values, and I'm trying to find union with this. Okay, so what I get is this grape coming from here, cherry coming from here, date coming from here, apple coming from here and here. So that's a union between these two sets. Okay, so I'm leaving it there. You go check the documentation of the sets and try things out and share your code with me. Then I'll give you the feedback. Now, let's jump over the next concept, file handling, which is very crucial, as we are aiming to become Gen AI experts. In every machine learning project that you handle, you have to deal with the data set that comes from different files. So that may be CSV or image or text file, some kind of file that you have to read in and put into your in memory and train your model, right? So how you can do that? The first principles is this: you should be able to open a file and and write read from the file and write to the file. Okay, why do we use write? Because at the end of your model training or finding your results, you want to write your results to some file or reports to some file, right? So in such cases we use writing. Not only that, for the key crucial thing is logging, to identify success and failure of each line of your code, right? Not each line, but the crucial parts of the code. So logging is crucial, and we use file handling, writing for that. Okay, that's a theory about it, but let's jump into reading and writing. So first, let's create an example text file. Okay, so how we are doing, we are using context management with open and example txt, that's the file name, and we are using write mode. W is write mode, and we are setting it as F. So this is your context for which you want to write this particular line. So this is one line, hello from Kaggle, and another line separated by new line, right? So this is a text file. So these two lines are being written to this example txt file with this particular piece of code. Okay, so let's run it, and then we want to read it, right? We are programmers, we want to do everything programmatically. How can we do that? So same with context management, open what we want to open, example txt. How? In read mode, and then F is your context. So hey, show me the file contents. That's how you can see file f.read, and it will be printed. So file contents this line, and then hello from Kaggle coming from here. This is a text file coming from here. As you can see, this new line is separated. Okay, so that's writing and reading to and from a new file that we create. Another example is over here. So another file, this is markdown, but this is your code cell where you can create another file in write mode and write something to it, and then open that file with read mode and see what is there inside. This new file contents coming from here, and fread is the data comes from here, right? That's what you wrote. This was written from the notebook. Okay, so that's about the key fundamentals for reading and writing for the files. Okay, so these are just basics, and use these for building the bigger things. Okay, so for CSV handling, so as we see a lot of CSV files in our future programming sessions, So CSV is crucial part for a machine learning practitioner or AI engineer, GenAI engineer, data scientist, right? So let's learn how to write to a CSV file and how to read from a CSV file. So the similar context works for CSV file. Here we use import CSV. CSV is a inbuilt Python library. You can just import it without installing it because it's by default it might have got installed for you. Otherwise, you can always use pypy pip install some library, it will get installed. Now let's try to write something to CSV. Import CSV, that's how you import some library. And context management over here with open. Students.csv is my file name and I want to write in the write mode. Okay, the file name, the mode, and then new line is just a string, empty string, right? As a file colons, and which this is indentation, the four spaces are one tab. So let's create the writer using this CSV writer for this F. That means into this file I want to write using the CSV writer. That's my writer. Okay, so I have my paper and pen ready. What I want to write, I want to write a row. So for into the writer dot write row is the method of this, and in the brackets I want to pass this list of items. Okay, this is my top head of CSV. What do we usually have? The headers, right? Or the column names. So those are name, age, major, the same example that we used earlier. And let's write some data to it. Okay, writer dot write row, same function method, and name is Alice. Okay, one record, age 25, major computer science. Okay, we want to add one more record. Let's add Bob to it, 24, mathematics. And if you want to try more, you can just duplicate this, copy paste, and change the values over here in this list, and you have more lines. So that's how you can write to a CSV file. Let me run that and let's read that CSV file. How can we do that? Simple, the same CSV file name with read mode here, and then call the CSV and call reader function from it on the F context. So that's your reader. That means you open that book or paper, and how you want to read it, row by row. So reader, each row, print it. So CSV contents coming from here, and every row is printing over here, which is name, age, major, Alice 25 computer science, Bob 24 mathematics. Okay, so that's how you can read the data from CSV file. Don't worry, we just use for loops. Okay, from S-tray concept. As I mentioned, don't worry, because this is a default approach of dealing with the CSV, inbuilt library, writing line by line and reading line by line, right? But as we go advanced sessions, we enter into pandas, and we use pandas for reading and writing CSVs. That's easier and cooler than this. Okay, that's all for today. So we have covered data structures and file handlings in first principles approach, fundamentals and core concepts only. And what I want you to try is this. So you take this, you create new code cells and do something like this. So you just create a list of movies, maybe your favorite ones, Then you create a tuple with colors, um, and whatever your favorite books and authors. That's a key value pair. And dictionaries, you create some dictionaries with the multiple authors and their books. Okay, you can also do this, right? So for an author you may have multiple books, right? So how you can handle that case? Okay, so author is the key, and his he might have written two or more books, right? So you can use list of books into that particular key. Okay, so your key is a author name, and the value is list of book names. So that's how you can actually handle the situation. And sets, some play with some uh, fruit sets. Okay, so use union, intersection, all such different methods. Add, remove, all this, right? And file handling, you want to try with something with creating or writing, reading number files, something, you try file handling for yourself, experience it. And csv handling, process classmate data. If you have friends and you know the names of them and ages of them, just you might want to create for fun, all this right row concept list of the details, and see the csv is generated and written, and you just download and see in your computer. That's fun, right? Yeah. So that's all for now. This is your Kaggle notebook, and which is available in the YouTube description for you. Which is this? You can actually come over here and check for yourself this particular GitHub repository and this notebook. And in order for you to read more, you can review this chapter 2. It contains more information and all the examples and practice exercises. Okay, so probably we can stop over there. And yeah, that's all for today. Keep practicing, and if you get any doubts, feel free to put that in the comments. I'll try to help you out. And use Kaggle notebooks and discussions to discuss about things what you're practicing. If you get an error, I can help you with that. Thank you. See you in another video.